Hello, everyone, and welcome to Recyclist. I am incredibly excited right now to be welcoming back to the show the CEO of SWANA herself, Amy Lestition Burke. Thank you so much for coming back to Recyclist and returning to talk with us today.
Thank you so much for having me back. I'm very excited to be here and to chat with you again. This is so exciting. So, thank you.
Yeah, it wasn't just some random opportunities. Swana has quite a bit going on in the next few months, and I'm really excited to kind of get into all of that. But you joined us, I believe, last year. So what has Swana kind of been up to in the past year? What has the Solid Waste Association of North America had going on over the past 12 months?
Oh, we have had so much going on, and it's so much exciting things, and really trying to focus on where we can make a difference for the organization, SWANA, the members, as well as for the profession and the industry. And one of the main things is I have visited so many different facilities and so many of our chapters across North America. That has been everything from Alaska throughout Canada, all the way to Puerto Rico, throughout the United States. And I have had the opportunity to see different MRFs, recycling centers, collection centers, transfer stations, landfills, composting, really you name it, on what our members are working on day in and day out, and see the challenges, the opportunities, some areas where they're trying new things, implementing new technologies, and to see it firsthand has really been tremendously beneficial because that has enabled me to understand. I'm not from this industry, right? So it's given me a greater understanding personally, and it has enabled me to lead, right? Lead where we need to build new resources for our members and the community. Understand where we need to frame our advocacy and what we need to do there, where we need to update our training courses. SWANA offers several training courses in a variety of areas, and where we need to build new training and education and resources. And I'm really big on partnering, right? What we do in the waste and resource management industry is not in a silo. It affects society, it affects communities, and it affects many other industries and professions, and we need to be working with them. And by being able to see what goes on firsthand, we've been able to forge other partnerships with organizations that really have been able to pull us forward. And so this has been instrumental to see how there are other opportunities for how members can learn from one another, how we can share solutions and best practices, and how we can bring that to SWANA on a daily basis, and how we can make sure that SWANA is focusing on key areas that members really need at this time, and maybe even areas that they don't even know that they need yet. So that's been really exciting, one area. And as you know, safety is key and paramount to our industry. We want to make sure that people come home to their families
Oh,
at
yeah.
the end of every day. And so, some of the new things that we've done in the past 12 months, we've revamped our safety committee, which I'm really excited about. Our safety committee focuses just sort of maybe what you think it does, right? That we want them to help us put out resources, new education, new programming, and we've expanded that. It's grown, I think, almost quadrupled in size, which is really important. We've made sure it has diversity from the wide spectrum within the waste and resource management industry, but also they are coming from experience from different industries, like including construction, where they've served as safety managers in construction. So this is really exciting that they're bringing this in, and they're going to help us implement what we just recently signed, which is a re-signing of our alliance with OSHA, along with the National Waste and Recycling Association. So it's the three organizations, OSHA, NWRA, and SWANA, have re-signed this alliance on its importance on safety. And our safety committee is going to help us carry out the work that is in this alliance, which is really sharing and developing resources and participation at each other's events that we have throughout the year, which is really important. We are making sure that we have safety meetings throughout the year and making sure safety is a key component through everything we do. It's not just like in a silo, right? Its own bucket, like out on its side. We want to make sure it's involved in everything. We've been incorporating safety moments at our board meetings. The young professional group is having safety moments when they kick off their meetings. So we're really trying to instill this culture throughout the organization and really trying to live that.
Not much going on is basically what you're talking
Not
about. You
much
guys are
going on. And there's one more thing I would like to highlight because it is a lot of talk right now in terms of extended producer responsibility. And SWANA did release guiding principles and a technical policy related to EPR. And what is so great about this policy is that it is written for any material. Okay, so it can be written for the packaging, for batteries, anything. And underlying it is certainly safety is really important. We want to make sure our industry, the waste and resource management industry, is part of any EPR in any state that happens. And we want to make sure that the funding that comes from it stays within the system. So we're doing a lot of education around EPR right now. And of course, we want to make sure that we are looking at what we can do to make sure that our industry has a voice, and that if EPR is coming to your state, if it's starting to be operationalized, that our members understand what that means and that they understand what that is bringing, right? And there's been a lot of talk, and I'm glad that SWANA has these policies and these guiding principles in place, because it's enabled us to be part of the conversation now. And it's enabled us to talk to both brands at the beginning of life with the manufacturing, all the way through to the end, in terms of us working with legislators and communities about what EPR is, and making sure members are informed about it. When new things come, there's often maybe some hesitation. Well, let's take that hesitation out. Let's make sure people are knowledgeable about it and that they can move forward in talking about it within their own facility, within their own community, about what EPR means if it's coming to their state. We also had a fun opportunity earlier this year where, out in California, we were able to meet a robo dog. Uh, and I shook the robo dog's hand. I wanted to take this dog home with me, quite frankly. And this dog is the coolest dog ever, because he is helping on landfills to detect methane. So this landfill out in Orange County is using it to or do early detection of methane. So on a daily or roughly daily basis, the dog is looking for early detection of maybe methane leaks from pipes or different things like that, instead of waiting like on a quarterly basis when they used to, look for it, and then trying to deal with it. They want to make sure that they are the key stewards of the environment. And if there is more methane than there should be, they want to solve it within a few days of detecting it. And I love that they're using something creative as a dog and having the dog go out on the landfill and detecting it. And so fun to see these innovations out there within our industry. And I can't wait to learn about the next one, quite honestly.
so So quite a bit going on over at SWANA over the past 12 months. I am interested across specifically across all the different site visits that you've made. Is there anything maybe surprising that's really stuck out to you, or any striking patterns that you've noticed across all of these visits that you're excited to incorporate into new SWANA policy moving forward?
Well, what struck me and what is continuous throughout is the passion of all these individuals,
Yeah.
the passion for what they do, and for really holding true to being those stewards for the environment, which I know I've said, but they truly are that. And for thinking about the community and the public health too, right? And it just strikes me every time I go how much pride they have in what they do and their facility, and showing it to me in every little thing, and introducing me to the entire team, and everybody's key role that they play a part in is truly fascinating. And it just warms my heart, right? Even up in Canada, I met a truck driver who actually had been hit
Oh,
by
wow.
a driver, and he loves his job. And we talked all about safety. And he said to me, "Let me show you what I do every morning when I'm going to get in my truck to make sure the truck is safe, on the road." And it just, you know, all of these stories make me want to really truly represent this industry, work with my team at SWANA to do this day in and day out to make sure that we are are bringing more, whatever that is, resources, funding, right? The timing is right for new regulations that come out, right? Whatever that is, that we are really advocating and putting our best foot forward for these individuals, and especially in terms of the safety, right?
Yeah.
And when you think that someone may not come home at the end of the day because we didn't fund something or we didn't push hard enough, I just can't let that be the case, right? And so, and that's the case too with the board of directors. We've talked a lot about right now the fires that are happening because of batteries and other hazardous materials, and we need to keep doing more, and we can do more, and that's a key focus. And I'm excited that with where we are with SWANA and where I am right now, we're starting to get onto that path, right? And um, working with others to do that and accomplish that, because that's the only way some of these bigger goals are going to get accomplished. They can't be done with one organization or one person.
Yeah. And I imagine education, advocacy, that's going to play a lot into it. And I think that's a good transition into, beginning to talk about this huge new event series that SWANA recently announced back in February. You talk about the board of directors, you talk about the leadership over at SWANA. Back in February, you guys at SWANA got together and decided to, and I love the wording you used here, you decided to sunset the event series that SWANA had been holding up to this point. So SOAR and WasteCon are no longer happening, correct?
That is correct.
And in their place, you have created what you are calling RCON. So, what was the thought process behind discontinuing those other events and the creation of this new one?
Yeah, I'm very excited about the new one. So, when I came in, I did an analysis very quickly of the two events, and there was not great market perception of the events, and a little confusion about what the events were about. And you can reinvigorate events, but there's always some, bias or perception, right, of what the events are going to be. And sometimes that's hard to break down of individuals, right? Because they always think, well, X event is this, right? Or you think that's the case for X restaurant too, right? Or X experience. And I made the recommendation, instead of trying to revamp or tweak, let's do something new. Let's start from scratch, and let's really live true to the mission of SWANA, The mission of SWANA is to advance waste as a resource. And so that can mean recycling, that can mean reuse, repair, that can mean waste to energy, that can mean landfill gas, that can mean putting it renewable natural gas, that can mean a lot of things, right? And let's focus on that and build a conference true to our mission going forward. And so we were out there saying we're going to have a new conference without, we didn't have a name yet. And we focused with the board of directors, and then we went actually convened a group of young professionals to talk about the name. And the name of the conference, RCON, actually came from a young professional, for the R standing for resource. And so we like to say that the R primarily is for resource, but that the R can stand for whatever you would like it to be. The R can stand for resource, relevant, re-innovate. It could be that you're a rock star in what you do. So we're having a little fun with that. And we have built this conference to be informed by members. We want members to have planned this. And so we've had focus groups, we crowdsourced the name. So while a young professional came up with the name, we did put 3 names out to the members and said, rank these names in the order that you like them, like your preference order. So we've tried to bring members all along the way so that they feel and know this is their meeting. SWANA is all about members. It's all about connections and community. And this event needs to be theirs. And we want this event to be not just an event, an experience. It's more than just coming to an event. It is about getting to know people. It's about learning. It's about experiential learning, being on site. And
Yeah, I specifically, you talk about experiential learning. When you go on the website, there was a couple things that I did specifically want to hit on because I think everybody's going to assume, there's going to be an event floor, there's going to be manufacturers and industry heads you can kind of walk around and talk to. But there were a couple things on the website that did really strike me that I wanted to make sure that we didn't gloss over. You talk about hybrid trainings on the website, and something that you were just beginning to mention, you talk about technical and quote unquote experiential learning tours. I would like to get into those.
yeah. So SWANA offers trainings throughout the year, and they are in specific subject areas. So one of them is the manager of landfill operations, MOLO for short. And that training is 2.5 days to 3 days. And think about that. We want people to go to RCON and experience RCON, but we also want them to be able to get this training. Well, if RCON is 3 days and this MOLO is 3 days, how does that work? How do you get to see both? So that's where the hybrid comes in. We are going to offer this one as well as our landfill gas systems operations and maintenance virtual prior to getting on site. So it'll be about, I think, a day and a half, a day virtual. Well, they'll meet each other. They're going to have some trainings in a virtual setting. And then when they get on site, they're going to meet each other all in person. They'll have trainings. And then they're going to actually get to go on facility tours as part of this training. So that's where the experiential learning comes in. So for both of these, in terms of the MOLO and then the landfill gas systems operations, they are going to go to the SWACO landfill and get to learn all about hands-on what they were learning about in their books, in their manuals, and in the class. So that's where then the experiential comes in. We don't think it should all just be focused on a manual and that class learning. Let's bring it to life. Let's see it firsthand. So we're
Yeah.
really excited about that.
Yeah, I've been to quite a few landfills throughout the course of my being in this industry, and I've always, every time I've gone out there, I've found the experience incredibly helpful.
Yeah, and for individuals who are perhaps new to these positions or aspiring to be in these positions, this will be tremendously valuable instead of just trying to visualize like what are they talking about, right? We also want this as part of the learning to go out into the expo hall together, right? So a lot of times in these courses, they're talking about different equipment solutions, right? Go out together onto the expo hall floor and see the equipment and the solutions that are being talked about. So tying that all together, why not? You're there, right? This is the perfect opportunity to do that. And we're doing that also with our PFAS for landfill professionals course. That's a shorter course, not hybrid, but they're going to get to go to tour Revive Environmental, which is a PFAS treatment facility. So that is all tied together as well. So that's what we're trying to do going forward, is bring the experiences from the classroom into the real life for the individual.
And you want to talk about trying to make this the premier waste resource convention. The website touts 160 companies that are going to be involved in this, involved in RCON. That wasn't a typo, was it?
That is not a typo. We actually just expanded the exhibit hall. So we are at 160 exhibitors who will be there with their solutions and services. So we're really excited about that. And we were excited we could expand the exhibit hall instead of it being sold out, right? The more that we can bring to attendees, the better, in my opinion. The more options out there and the more ability for people to see what's out there. We're also going to have a lot of trucks and equipment on the show floor, which is really exciting. New Way Trucks is bringing several trucks, including from municipalities, to showcase. LACSWAMA, which the acronym is for Lancaster Solid Waste in Pennsylvania. They're actually bringing a transfer trailer, and they're bringing it because it is wrapped with a battery campaign that they, drive around in their community about the importance of batteries and recycling those appropriately. So I'm loving this because here we have a municipality with Lancaster County, and they're like, no, we want in on the exhibit hall too to showcase what we're doing and how we can help others learn from what we're doing and that they can apply it. So it's fascinating that this is how this is all coming together this year.
Well, the RCON is going to be taking place in Columbus, Ohio, correct?
It is, yes, very exciting.
Was there a reason that Columbus was specifically chosen? Was it just kind of a centralized location, or I know you guys have already praised the town for its sustainability and for its efforts in terms of waste and resource management, but was just the centralized nature of Columbus kind of a big determining factor for this initial push for this first ever RCON?
Well, it is definitely centrally located, and there's lots of things to do in Columbus as well. But when we are looking for locations, and when we look for locations going forward, we are really looking to partner with cities that have sustainability efforts, and in particular at the convention center. And the Greater Columbus Convention Center sustainability and what they are trying to do is a definite alignment with SWANA in our industry. And we were really impressed, and we were there a few weeks ago, and there's even new stuff they're rolling out because they want to be more sustainable. Certainly, SWANA is ahead of other meetings and other events that are held in convention centers in terms of our sustainability efforts, but other organizations don't even do efforts, right? And Columbus and the convention center is really trying to make sure every event that comes through can do sustainability, right? And make that easy. We also love for Columbus that it's like located within a day's drive or an hour's flight for more than half of the US. So we do look at the air flight when we are looking at cities. So making sure there aren't too many hops. We don't want people taking 3 flights to get somewhere. So that's important. Also, several key partners are in Columbus. Rumpke is there,
Mm,
as
mhm,
well
mhm.
as SWACO, the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio, and they both have state of the art facilities to visit, which is key for our members and attendees to see.
Yeah, and I know, I'm sure that training's gonna be incredible. That's not going to be the only training or the only seminars or the only talks that are going to be given. How many proposals have you guys had to go through, uh, for RCON? You guys had open proposal, applications for a while, so I imagine that, event goers can expect quite a few choices when it comes to seminars, talks, and on-site, meetings that they can potentially go to.
Oh my goodness, you are so right. We received over 150 proposals to go through for concurrent sessions on a variety of topics. And what I love about this process, because again, we're trying to involve as many members as possible,
Mhm.
again, as a member organization, we had over 75 individuals review all of the proposals. And then we had a content review committee of about 25 people who actually delved into it. I think it was, I don't know, over 4 hours of meetings delving into all the proposals to make some recommendations and decisions on that. They scored them and what the agenda should look like. So I think there's going to be over 80, 90 sessions in total between concurrent sessions, general sessions, and it's going to be technical content on a range of topics with real life examples and case studies. So, covering landfills and MRFs, EPR for batteries is in there, workforce, of course. We're always looking at within that, how do you engage young professionals in there? Um, we're talking a lot about, of course, AI, but also looking at like ethical AI within that. I also think there's some on plastic film recycling, if I'm remembering right, food waste prevention. Of course, we have to have some stuff on methane emissions. I was hoping maybe the Robo Dog would come, honestly. I'd like to shake his hand again and pet him. Funding mechanisms, debris management, and like that crisis management, right? Whenever there's a disaster, right? Like, what does that look like? And certainly, we've had hurricanes, the fires in California, tornadoes, things along those lines. Our members are always on those front lines to deal with the aftermath, right, of those crisis. So
Yeah.
there's lots and lots of content. And new this year, we're having posters as well, where individuals are, presenting like, here was an idea, here was, and this is how this was the solution and the outcome. So those will be presented. We're also having a community service project where we're going to give back to the city of Columbus. And since it's around Thanksgiving in the United States, we are going to be putting together Thanksgiving baskets. So that's really great.
Nice.
Um, with the Ohio EPA, we're going to have an art show made from all recycled art. So that's something new that'll be offered for people to see as well. So lots of different learning experiences, including roundtables. That was something that came directly from members. They love the education in a session, but they also want to be able to sit down and talk to, maybe another person who runs a MRF, a recycling center, a landfill, hear their challenges, hear what's going on, and learn from them. So we're going
Yeah.
to run
More
roundtables.
lateral thought sharing, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to run roundtables throughout the conference as well, and I'm excited to offer such a variety for people and how they want to learn. And it's not just one way, it's here's all the choices, and you really build your schedule for how it suits you and what you want to get out of this conference.
And even with everything that we've already touched on, there's still one major aspect of the convention that we haven't really even brought up yet. And I don't know if this was intentional, I don't know if this was coincidental, but you guys are actually co-locating with a different
Yes, yes,
event, correct?
we are. So of course, sustainability is really important, and I'm thrilled that we are able to co-locate with the U.S. Plastic Pact, and their Activator Action Summit is going to be co-located in Columbus. So attendees can sign up for both. They can sign up for the Activator Action Summit as well as RCON. And this is such a unique opportunity, which I don't even know if it's been done before, where we're going to have brand owners and packaging designers in the same room with the municipalities and the companies that are running recycling programs in MRFs. And I'm intentionally pausing there because how cool is that? Like, it just blows my mind, like, to think that they're going to be there all together. And it's great, really, that Jonathan Quinn at US Plastic Pact was willing to take this step with me. And it happened over a lunch, and we were like, okay, let's do this. And when we talk about topics like EPR, to have this range of stakeholders at the table, right, is this is a step in the right direction. This is hearing from everyone in the room, and this is how we can make it better. And this is how we can really move things forward in an exponential way, not in baby steps, but really move this forward and make sure that we're all moving forward together for really what we're trying to do, right? To be stewards of the environment for next generations and all of that. So I'm thrilled that they are going to be there with us, and that this co-location is happening.
Well, it's certainly going to be a lot for people to choose from over the course of those 3 days. And I am interested. I do think there's a couple questions out there in terms of this new event. Obviously, previously you guys had done multiple different events, SOAR and WasteCon. Is RCon meant to basically combine both, or are you planning more as of yet unannounced events in the future that are not RCon related?
Great question. So we look at this as a brand new event, that we actually built from scratch. So the staff sat with, I was going to say a blank sheet of paper, but then I sound a little old. It was a blank screen, um, a blank screen, and we were like, what should the schedule be? What should we do? Really trying not to think of previous SWANA events, and really thinking about what do we want to do now, what are the trends in meetings, or what are the trends that members are saying they want. And it was really hard, and I feel like really excited because the staff really worked hard to kind of like not have those blinders on from the past and really was future focused in what we're trying to do. So Archon is here. We are thinking about a lot of other events going forward, not at this same capacity. And when I say that, meaning like not having the big exhibit hall, right, with the
Yeah.
equipment and things like that, but having other events that really focus on specific targeted areas and that bring people together in the community. And that's just what I keep going back to with SWANA, right? The importance of the connection, the importance of bringing people together to support that network. And SWANA wants to be that curator and that convener of those conversations. So there is conversations in the work, but nothing to be revealed yet.
Understood. And I imagine for the future of Archon, something of this scale isn't something you'd probably be able to pull off biannually. But do you feel, I know we're still a couple months out from even the initial conference, but is this something that you guys feel that should be an annual thing?
Yeah, we will be having this annually. And at RCON in Columbus, we will be announcing where we are going with the future locations.
Ah,
So I'm excited about that. For 2026 RCON, we will announce prior to getting on site, but we will be announcing the next several years when we're in Columbus. So I'm excited to make that announcement and for people to know like where we're going and to start to plan and think about that. We've had a clean slate in terms of that. So it's been fun to think about what are the cities that are really making a difference in terms of sustainability and also looking at some of the states with that and beginning that new path forward. So we're excited about that and making that announcement. That's going to happen on the general session on Thursday, November 13th.
yeah. And speaking of, we've kind of danced around the time period a little bit, but the official dates of RCON are November 12th through November 15th, 2025.
That is correct. That's the place to be during those dates.
And hopefully, we've interested a few people in looking at this. Hopefully, they're not listening to this recording after RCON has already taken place. So, assuming that for the people listening to this, there is still time for them to find more information on it, where can they do that, Amy?
Yeah, they can go to swana.org and in the top menu bar, if they go to events, they'll see RCON as the top drop down. And there's a bunch of information listed there. Certainly, if you are on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or X, SWANA is on all of those, and we are constantly posting about RCON on there. We just released certainly the expansion of the exhibit hall, but also the events that we are having at night, which there's no additional charge for our evening events, which is a great feature for someone attending our conference. We're going to be celebrating our volunteers that help us throughout the year. We are having an awards celebration. And then we're having a night at the market in Columbus. There is this great market with all these different food stalls and everything like that. And these are open events. If you register, you can participate. So we are excited, and social media is a great way to stay up to date with new announcements with what is happening.
Yeah. So make sure to check out swana.org. Make sure to check out Swana on, whatever relevant social media you have access to, be it LinkedIn. You guys are even on Instagram.
I do. I love Instagram, and we're going to be using Instagram more to showcase the tours we have,
Yeah, I'm
photos
sure there's going to
of
be a lot of picture
individuals.
opportunities there at Archon.
People love to see themselves too, so Instagram is a great vehicle for that.
Yeah. So everybody make sure to check out everything that Swana has going on. And even if you're listening to this in the future, there's probably an Archon upcoming in that calendar year. But I'm really looking forward to seeing Archon. I know that we are going to have a presence there. Our CEO is very much looking forward to checking out the first ever Archon. And Amy, once again, I want to thank you for coming on today and talking about this really exciting new event series that Swana has created.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been great. And check us out at SWANA. We really do appreciate it and hope to see you at another RCON coming up.
And once again, check out swana.org. One more time, thank you so much to the CEO of SWANA, Amy Lestition Burke, for coming on today and joining us here on Recyclist. And once again, if you're unaware, Recyclist is a registered trademark of Diamond Scientific, an industry leader in gas analysis, instrumentation, and solutions. You can check them out online at diamondsci.com. That's diamondsci.com. Or you can even set up a personalized presentation just by calling 321-223-7500. And hopefully we will see you at RCON once again, November 12th through the 15th, 2025 in Columbus, Ohio. I've been your host, Eric Provost, and we will see you back here next week for another brand new episode of Recyclist. Thank you.